Today I want to check out Sekiro, also known as Wolf or Akame, is the eponymous protagonist of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. He is a shinobi, serving the divine heir Kuro. Bound by honor, he is composed and reticent, but also has the ruthlessness to complete his mission by any means necessary. Now, Sekiro has already lost his life at the beginning of the game to the Ashina clan leader Kenshiro Ashina. In the prologue, losing the young lord he was charged with protecting and also his left arm. Later, he was given a prosthetic arm, which was created by Dogen by the sculptor at the dilapidated temple. Now, the history goes that some 2 decades before the game's main event, Sekiro was found by Owl in the calmed battlefield, seemingly orphaned from Ashina's coup reclamation of his clan's homeland. Owl dubbed him Wolf and took the boy in as a foster son, while having him trained with the help of several co-menators such as Lady Butterfly to become a shinobi. Owl indoctrinated Sekiro with the Iron Code, which bids that father is absolute and a master comes close second. Sekiro was at one time appointed as a shinobi of the divine heir, which bound him to a lifetime duty of protecting his young lord. This responsibility took Sekiro under difficult times when Haruta estate fell under a very timely attack by a bandit group known as the Juzo the Drunkard, whose annoyance to many had the backing of interior ministers, agents, and Sekiro's own treacherous father. The exact thing that transpired that night is unknown, since Sekiro's memory of that event itself was gone from him, but it can be accepted that Sekiro was fooled by his foster father to think that he's about to pass away from wounds, and was tasked with a dying wish to retrieve the divine heir Kuro from the hidden shrine beneath Haruta Estate's main building. For whatever reason, Sekiro was an antagonistic, greeted by Lady Butterfly, who does not seem to be content with Sekiro getting away with Kuro, and was forced to kill his former mentor. Victorious, Sekiro was somehow stabbed from behind by a large Adachi, and he fell to a near-death state. It was at the time Kuro gave him his oath bound to mortality, allowing Sekiro to survive the harrowing event. With no recollection of that night, Sekiro was left with no purpose to live. He was branded a rogue by the Ashina military, possibly due to accusations of betrayal involving Haruta's destruction that was going on. For an unknown amount of time, Sekiro spent his time in a well not far from Ashina reservoir, wasting his life away in solitude. The soldiers and guards who came to know his presence went as far as to tolerate him, believing he lost his will to live. Yet a later letter from a tenant of Ashina Castle made its way into the well one day, informing Sekiro that his master is alive and he needs to save him, from which point the game unfolds. Now, Sekiro, or Wolf, as I'll call him from here on out, he has a prosthetic arm, which he gets all kind of abilities with that arm. He gets an axe, and you can use it to various effects. Shurikens, a poisonous dagger called Sanamaru, I believe. A spear, all kind of attachments. And the one thing about Wolf is that he's got the ability, just like any other shinobi, to use silence, and he sneaks up on his victims or his enemies, not really victims, I guess, and a style in a way that they're unaware of his presence completely, and he stabs them, or cuts their throat, or however he dispatches them. He does it very quietly. So in that regard, he is a master at being stealthy, which is essential to being a good, ninja, of course. He is bound by honor. He serves Kuro at every whim, every wish the young lord wants of him. He does without question. He's very loyal. He has the ability to face enemies without any regret. I mean, he's got no fear whatsoever inside of him. And he goes through some fantastic places in the game. I mean, as you can see here, he goes to the land of the dead, pretty much, where he's fighting ghosts of adversaries that he's killed previously. And it's just the world itself is just a challenge to him. I mean, he's facing giant creatures, serpents, apes, you name it. I mean, there's bulls, there's just all sorts of creatures are standing in his way, and he does not waver in his mission. Uh, he's just 100% loyal when it comes to doing his task to the T. And as you can see here, he's just no fear whatsoever. I would have to say that Wolf is definitely up there with the top ninjas in video games. Could he beat Ryu Hayabusa? I think that he probably could, because Wolf has just the determination as Ryu has. Maybe not as strong, maybe about the same. I don't know. But if these two ever got into it, I think that Wolf would have a good chance. Not only that, but he's got the power of resurrection. He can die, but he doesn't stay dead. He comes back. So, until permadeath, until he dies twice, then he's permanently dead. But I think Ryu would have a hard time with that, probably, especially if Sekiro knew Ryu's moves and was dedicated to the fight. Ryu would probably lose. Joe Masashi, I don't know. Joe would probably have a real tough time with him, but I think Joe could beat Wolf. I'm pretty sure that he could, because Joe has that same determination and willpower that Sekiro has. He's not bound by an oath or anything, but he just has that same determination, and I feel that he would be a worthy challenge for Wolf. And also, Joe Masashi, he has more magic abilities than, or ninjutsu abilities than Wolf does. So that alone, I mean, would put Joe Masashi up there as a top tier contender. But back to Wolf, I mean, he's just top of the line stealth, badass ninja. And I've just finished the game. I did almost 100% completion. I missed a couple of items, and I'm getting ready to go back through a second playthrough because I really want to see everything. But yeah, like right here, he's getting the the dragon's tears, and he has to fight this ancient dragon, and it's just this fight right here is just amazing. Just a beautiful game, fantastic world. I love the design of the world, and I just loved how they brought Wolf out in this game. How they made him seem like he was an underdog, and he is. He's an underdog, even with his resurrective ability. In no way at any point in the game that I feel like I was on par with the enemies. I always felt like I was under level, and trust me, I've been grinding my tail off trying to get my attack power up just to feel like I'm a badass, and I still don't. But that's the thing, that's the beauty of this game. The game it teaches you, you fail and you will die, and through trial and error you will get better if you're persistent and if you have the willpower to hang in there and to learn the combat, learn to deflect, because deflection is more important in this game than attacking. If you can time your attacks and deflect, or time the opponent's attacks and deflect them, you're going to do more damage to their posture bar, which is, you can just destroy an enemy by blocking rather than pure attack alone. So the game, for a lot of people, I think was just too hard in that regard, because it's a Souls-like game, and I hate using that term, but it is. And a lot of people went into this thinking that it was like Dark Souls, me included, when I first played it years ago. And it will kick your ass if you go into it playing it like a Dark Souls game, because it's not. It's its own thing. It's got its own combat system, and you have to learn it. You're going to get mad. You're going to get angry. You're going to hate life. You're going to want to rip your balls off. But you can do it. And now here's the ending of the game. There's spoiler alert, I guess I should say. But Wolf was loyal to Lord Kuru all the way up until the end. Kuru had wanted the immortal bloodline severed, which he carried in his body. His own blood would bring things back to life, and he wanted that abomination severed, that tie. So he tasked the wolf with the job or the mission of receiving this blade that no one could handle, no one could hold. It would kill you. But because Wolf had resurrective abilities, he's able to wield the mortal blade and to carry out the dying wish of Kuro and sever the young child, but also severing the bloodline. So, my thoughts on the game and my thoughts on Wolf in general, I mean, they just go hand in hand. You know, you will, like I said, this game is very punishing, very hard, but at the same time, you have a kindred connection with Wolf. I felt like I was him. I felt like the entire time, I felt like I was, like I said, I was an underdog. And I was struggling in this world, this fantastic world filled with creatures that were just, you know, would scare more normal men would run in terror. Even these enemies on here, they're just the regular foot soldiers. They react to what's going on in their world. Later on, as the game changes, and as the Ministry clan come in and try to retake Ashina capital, there's normal enemy from the beginning of the game that are battling these more powerful foes that are more demonic, and they're just like stunned, shocked. So Wolf is able to do this with full determination, full ability, full discipline. He's able to carry out his request of the Lord Kuru and to get his mission done. And in that regard, I think Sekiro Wolf Okame is one of the top tier ninjas in video game history of all time.